You may have noticed that I'm just over a meter tall and I have no arms. I do share your obvious first thoughts. Thank goodness they gave me a clip-on microphone. You may be wondering how I manage to do everyday tasks. Well, I type with my toes and I text with my tongue. I'll admit that I get a lot of stares wherever I go. I've learned to reframe it in my mind. The fact that everybody stares at me, isn't this what Beyoncé has to deal with every day of her life? I'm so grateful that the statue of the Venus de Milo proved to the world that a woman without arms can be stunningly beautiful. But like most of you, I think she's quite an attention seeker for not wearing a shirt. I try not to dwell on what I can't do. My shortcomings, like yours, are mostly in our heads, and it's definitely in our hands to change them. When I look at videos of myself as a young child, it's hard not to recognize that I believed in myself. I was born without arms and shortened legs, and there was no medical explanation for my disability. Fortunately for me, my parents, they chose to focus on what I can do, not on what I can't do. It was never the case of, can Nicky do it? It was always, well, how can Nicky do it? They believed in me. Whether I was spooning that last bit of porridge out of my bowl or taking my first few steps, I never saw my limitations. If I fell down, I'd get up again. I believed in myself. Don't you wish that you still had the flexibility of your youth? I know I definitely do. I'm not going to try that today. I believe that each one of us was born with the same inner drive and belief in ourselves to do whatever we set our minds to. I believe that each one of us, when we were younger, didn't see our limitations. When we fell down, we'd get up again. It's only as we grow older that we start to compare ourselves to others, which breeds self-doubt, low self-esteem, and insecurities. I had to implement the first life lesson that my parents taught me. Focus on what you can do, not on what you can't do. How often do we invest all our energy into tasks that we cannot do, that are completely unrealistic, and perhaps completely beyond our control? If I had to write a list of all the things that I can't do, and I chose to focus on that list, I know that I would be depressed. If we decide to focus on what we can do, imagine how all our abilities, talents, and self-esteems will be enhanced. Something I've learned as a psychologist is that we need to learn to tolerate uncertainty. I'd like each of you to think about for a minute, what is causing you stress and anxiety this moment? It may be something about work or something related to your home. If you think of what's causing you stress and anxiety, it's all future related. Will my company reach its targets? Will I be able to pay the bills at the end of the month? Will my children grow up to be healthy and happy? The thing is, we can't demand to know exactly what's going to happen in the future. For us, we need to recognize that unless you had a crystal ball, and one that actually works, We can't know what the future holds. Once we learn to tolerate that uncertainty better, then we're able to focus on the here and now. After all, if you worry about tomorrow, how can you enjoy today? Something I learned long before I ever stepped on stage is if you've got the drive, the destination is up to you. Looking back at that video of myself as a young child, I know that that little girl would never have given up. She saw no limitations. If she fell down, she'd get up again. We all need to think about, what are you going to do to reignite that inner drive within yourself, that inner belief that you had when you were younger? How are you going to learn to focus more on what you can do and learn to tolerate uncertainty? Sometimes we need to reconnect with the child inside of us who saw boundless possibilities, the child who had the courage to risk it all. Sometimes we need to stop holding on too tight, let go of the handlebars, and proudly proclaim, "Look, Mom, no hands." Thank you.